Listen to me. Some of you are sitting here right now and you're frustrated because life hasn't given you what you think you deserve. You're looking at other people winning, you're scrolling through your phone seeing everybody shining, and you're wondering, why not me? Why am I still stuck? Why am I still at nothing? And I need you to hear me clearly. The very first step to going from nothing to something is to stop making excuses and own your reality. Stop pointing fingers at your mom, your dad, your teacher, your boss, your past. Stop blaming where you came from. Stop blaming what you didn't get. Stop blaming what they didn't do for you. If you're ever going to make that shift, if you're ever going to change your story, you've got to look in the mirror and say, it's on me. I know it's easier to say you don't have support. I know it's easier to talk about how people walked out on you, how nobody believed in you, how they counted you out. I know it's easier to sit there and say, if I had what they had, I'd be further ahead. But the truth is, that mentality keeps you locked at zero. Because as long as your success depends on what somebody else did or didn't do, you'll always be stuck waiting for somebody to come save you. And nobody's coming. Nobody's showing up with a golden key to unlock your potential. It's you. It's always been you. I came from nothing too. I know what it feels like to have your back against the wall, to wake up in an environment that doesn't look like hope. I know what it's like to have every reason to quit, to throw in the towel, to say, this is just how life is going to be for me. But I had to make a choice. And the choice was simple. Either I keep complaining about the hand I was dealt, or I learn how to play the hand like a champion. Some of you have been dealt a tough hand, I'm not denying that. But stop acting like you can't win with it. People have come from worse and built something unshakable because they refuse to let their reality be an excuse. The reason ownership is so powerful is because the moment you accept that it's your responsibility, you take back control. When it's your fault, that means it's also your solution. When you say, it's on me, and now you're free to change it. Excuses take away your power, but ownership gives it back. You can't rewrite your past, but you can rewrite your future. And the pen is in your hands the second you stop saying they and start saying me. Let me break it down. Some of you are late to opportunities, and then you get mad when doors don't open. Some of you don't study, don't practice, don't prepare, and then you complain when you fail. Some of you are inconsistent, doing it one day and quitting the next. And then you want to cry about why nothing is happening. That's not the world's fault. That's not your family's fault. That's not your environment's fault. That's on you. And the quicker you can say, that's me, I did that, I didn't show up, I didn't give 100%, I didn't sacrifice, the quicker you can make the adjustment. When you stop running from your truth becomes the foundation you build on. See, the ones who go from nothing to something are the ones who get real with themselves. They don't sugarcoat it, they don't pretend, they don't hide. They look at their weaknesses, their laziness, their distractions, their wasted time, and they call it out. And once they call it out, they deal with it, they fix it. That's how change starts, and let me tell you this, when you take ownership, you also gain respect. Because people can see when you're blaming the world, and they don't take you seriously. But when you stand up and say, I messed up, but I'm not staying here. I fell short, but I'm not finished. I started at nothing, but I'm about to turn this into something. That energy changes everything. People will believe in you when you start believing in yourself enough to own your life. Don't get it twisted. Ownership is not about beating yourself up. It's not about living in guilt or shame. It's about being honest enough to face where you are so you can get to where you're going. It's about saying, I may not have all the resources, but I've got enough to start. I may not have the perfect background, but I've got the grit. I may not have been handed opportunity, but I've got it. The work ethic to create my own. That's the difference. That's how you shift. Some of you are one decision away from changing everything, but you're still hiding behind excuses. You're still waiting for conditions to be perfect. You're still waiting for permission. And I came to tell you, you don't need perfect conditions. You don't need anybody's permission. You don't need somebody to come hold your hand. What you need is to take ownership of your life right here, right now. So when you wake up tomorrow, stop looking at what you don't have and start asking yourself, what can I do with what I've got? Stop asking why it hasn't happened yet and start asking, what do I need to do today to make it happen? Stop saying you're at nothing and start declaring, I'm on my way to something. Because the truth is, nothing doesn't mean you're finished. Nothing means you're at the starting line. And if you've got the courage to take ownership, then you've got the power to finish the race. The first step is simple. Stop making excuses and own your reality. Why, if you really want to go from nothing to something, then you've got to grind like your life depends on it. Because for some of you, it actually does. The life you dream about, the future you keep imagining, the freedom you keep saying you want, it doesn't just fall out the sky. It doesn't come just because you wished for it, just because you prayed for it, just because you thought about it. It comes when you decide that every day you wake up, you're going to work for it like your next breath depends on it. See, when you're at nothing, you don't have the luxury of being casual. You don't get to relax. You don't get to halfway commit. You don't get to treat your grind like it's optional. You're starting from the bottom, which means you've got to give more. You've got to sacrifice more. You've got to show up earlier, stay longer, and outlast everybody around you. Because if you don't, you stay stuck where you are. Some of you keep talking about how bad you want it, but when I look at your actions, they don't match your mouth. You say you want to change your life, but you're still sleeping in when the alarm goes off. You say you want to be successful, but you're still scrolling, still wasting hours, still distracted. You say you want to go from nothing to something, but you're not willing to sweat for it, bleed for it, sacrifice for it. And I came to tell you, until your grind matches your goals, you're lying to yourself. Let me ask you this, how bad do you want it? Do you want it bad enough to turn off the TV, bad enough to put the game controller down, bad enough to stop going out every weekend, bad enough to give up sleep? Because if you're not willing to lose some sleep for it, don't tell me you're serious. If you're not willing to miss some parties, miss some fun, miss some comfort, don't tell me you want it. Wanting something and being willing to grind for it are two completely different things. The grind is ugly. Let me be real with you. It doesn't feel good all the time. It's not glamorous. Most of the grind happens in silence, when nobody's clapping for you, when nobody's liking your posts, when nobody's cheering you on. Most of the grind is lonely, repetitive, exhausting. But that's where greatness is built. You don't become something by doing what's convenient. You become something by doing what's necessary over and over again, even when you're tired, even when you don't feel like it. Everybody wants the shine, but nobody wants the dirt. Everybody wants the crown, but nobody wants the weight. And that's why so many stay at nothing, because the grind is heavy. But hear me clearly, if you carry the weight now, you'll wear the crown later. If you suffer now, you'll shine later. The grind will break you down, but in breaking you, it's building you into who you need to be. And I know some of you are saying, but I've been grinding and I don't see results. That's the test. That's where most people quit. They grind for a week, a month, maybe even a year, and when they don't see instant success, they stop. But listen to me, the grind is not about immediate results. It's about planting seeds. Every day you work, every day you sacrifice, every day you push through when you don't feel like it, you're planting. And the harvest doesn't come overnight, but if you quit planting, don't expect to reap. When you grind like your life depends on it, you stop needing motivation because discipline takes over. You don't wake up asking, do I feel like it today? You wake up saying, I don't have a choice. This is what I do. This is who I am. Because when your life is on the line, you don't negotiate. You don't procrastinate. You don't delay. You move, you act, you push. That's the level it takes. Let me paint the picture. If somebody held your head underwater, how bad would you want to breathe? Would you be casual about it? Would you say, maybe I'll try tomorrow? No, you'd fight with everything you've got, because in that moment, breathing is the only thing that matters. That's how you've got to want your dream. That's how you've got to attack your grind. Like every second counts, like if you don't push, you won't make it. I'm telling you, the grind is the great equalizer. You might not have the money, the connections, the background, the education, the talent, but if you're willing to grind, you can outlast, outwork, and outshine people who have more than you. Talent without grind is wasted. Resources without grind mean nothing. But a person with nothing who grinds like their life depends on it. There's no stopping them. So don't just talk about it. Don't just dream about it. Don't just write it down in a notebook. Get up and grind. Wake up early and grind. Stay up late and grind. Stay focused when others get distracted. Work on your craft when nobody's watching. Push through when your body says quit. Because the difference between the person who stays at nothing and the one who becomes something is not luck. It's grind. And when you grind like your life depends on it, something amazing happens. You start to build confidence because you know you're putting in the work. You start to separate yourself from the average because most people aren't willing to do it. You start to see progress not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. Don't you dare settle. Don't you dare quit. Don't you dare treat your dream like it's optional. Treat it like air. Treat it like water. Treat it like survival. Because when you grind like your life depends on it, that's when you take nothing and you turn it into something. Some of you are stuck at nothing not because you don't have talent, not because you don't have potential, not because you don't have the dream, but because you keep running from pain. You don't want to hurt. You don't want to feel uncomfortable. You don't want to go through the fire. But hear me clearly. The very thing you're running from is the very thing that's going to take you from nothing to something. The difference between people who stay stuck and people who rise is simple. They know how to take pain and flip it. They know how to turn pain into power. You think the people at the top got there without scars. You think they didn't cry some nights. You think they didn't feel rejection, betrayal, heartbreak, loss. No, they felt all of it. But instead of letting pain crush them, they let it carve them. They let it sharpen them. They let it fuel them. Pain became the push. Pain became the reason. Pain became the fire that lit up their grind. I'm telling you right now, pain is part of the process. You can't escape it. You can't bypass it. You can't pray it away. If you want to grow, if you want to change, if you want to go from nothing to something, you've got to embrace pain as your teacher, not your enemy. But here's the problem. Most of you treat pain like it's a stop sign. The moment it hurts, you quit. The moment it's uncomfortable, you stop. The moment it costs you something, you walk away. And that's why you never see the breakthrough. Because pain wasn't put in your life to stop you. It was put in your life to prepare you. Every trial, every setback, every loss is shaping you for the something you keep saying you want. But if you quit in pain, you never reach the promise. Let me make it plain. When you go to the gym, how do you build muscle? Resistance, pressure, strain, it hurts, but the hurt is proof you're growing. Without the pain of resistance, there is no strength. Life is the same way. Every time life puts weight on your shoulders, every time you feel like you can't carry it, every time it burns, you are building strength. You are building endurance, you are building resilience. Pain is the weight room for your destiny, and I get it. Pain is heavy, pain is real, pain breaks hearts, pain leaves scars, pain makes you feel like you're not enough. But you've got a choice. You can either let that pain paralyze you, or you can let it energize you. You can either sit in it and let it destroy you, or you can stand up and say, this will not be wasted. I'm going to use this. That heartbreak you went through. Use it to love harder, to appreciate people more, to become wiser. That loss you faced, use it to live with more purpose, to stop taking days for granted. That failure, use it to push yourself harder, to never let complacency creep in again. Don't waste your pain. Flip it, turn it into power. Some of you need to stop asking, why me? And start asking, what now? Stop crying about the pain and start creating with it. Stop hiding from it and start harnessing it. Because the truth is, the people who make the biggest impact in this world are the ones who went through the deepest pain. They survived storms that should have destroyed them, but instead of staying broken, they came back stronger. I remember seasons of my life when pain was the only thing I had, and let me tell you, it was in those moments that I found out what I was really made of. You don't discover your true strength when everything's easy. You discover it when life punches you in the mouth and you keep standing. You discover it when everything you thought you could count on falls apart, but you refuse to quit. That's when you find out who you really are, and some of you right now, you're in pain, you're in the middle of it. You're fighting battles nobody knows about. You cry when the lights go off. You smile in front of people, but deep down, you're bleeding. And I need you to hear me. Don't you waste this moment. Don't you quit in this season. Don't you let this pain break you. This is the moment that will define you. This is the chapter that will give your story its power. You've got to make a decision. Either you let this pain be the reason you give up, or you let it be the reason you go harder. And I promise you, if you choose to turn it into power, one day you'll look back and thank the very pain that you thought was going to destroy you. Because it was that pain that gave you the strength to rise. It was that pain that gave you the hunger to fight. It was that pain that took you from nothing to something. So stop running, stop avoiding, stop quitting every time it hurts. Lean into it, learn from it, let it sharpen you, because when you turn pain into power, there's nothing, absolutely nothing, that can stop you. If you're going to go from nothing to something, you've got to have a vision that's bigger than your circumstances. Because the truth is, your current reality will lie to you. Your current reality will try to convince you that this is all there is, that this is as far as you'll ever go, that nothing better is coming. But vision, that's the weapon that allows you to see past the struggle. Vision is what lets you stand in the middle of nothing and still speak like you already have something. See, most people lose because they let what they see control what they believe. They look at the bills, they look at the empty account, they look at the rejection letters, they look at the pain, and they let that decide their future. But the ones who win, the ones who rise, the ones who take nothing and build it into something, they don't let their eyes limit them. They let their vision lead them. Vision is different than sight. Sight shows you what is. Vision shows you what could be. Sight shows you the problem. Vision shows you the possibility. Sight says, I'm broke. Vision says, I'm not staying broke. Sight says, I failed. Vision says, this failure is the setup for my comeback. Sight says, nobody believes in me. Vision says, I believe in me, and that's enough. If your dream isn't bigger than your reality, you're going to settle. If your vision doesn't stretch you beyond where you are right now, you'll get comfortable being stuck. You've got to dream so big that it scares you, that it pulls you out of bed, that it makes you uncomfortable. You've got to see something greater than what you're living in, or you'll die in what you're living in. Think about it. Every great person you admire, every story of success you hear about, it started with vision. Before the business existed, before the platform grew, before the stage, before the money, before the influence, it started in the mind. It started with somebody seeing something nobody else could see, and holding on to that picture until it became reality. That's the power of vision. But here's where most of you mess up. You let your environment choke your vision. You let your circle kill your vision. You let people who can't see what you see talk you out of it. And if you're not careful, you'll let small-minded people shrink a big vision. Don't do it. If you've been given the ability to see beyond your circumstances, protect that vision with everything you've got. You've got to wake up every day rehearsing it in your mind, declaring it with your mouth, acting like it's already done. That's not delusion, that's discipline, that's faith, that's focus, because the vision won't come to life unless you nurture it. Just like a seed, it won't grow if you don't water it daily. And you water it by speaking life into it, by grinding for it, by refusing to let reality talk you out of it. Let me tell you something. When I was at nothing, what kept me alive was my vision. When I didn't have the resources, I still had the picture in my mind. When I didn't have the opportunities, I still had the dream in my heart. When I didn't have the support, I still had the belief that one day, what I saw in my head would become what I held in my hands. And that vision gave me the strength to endure seasons where quitting felt easier. And for some of you, that's the missing piece. It's not that you're lazy, it's not that you don't care, it's not even that you don't try. It's that your vision isn't strong enough to sustain you when things get hard. The moment you hit a wall, you stop, because your dream wasn't big enough to pull you through it. When your vision is massive, when your vision is clear, when your vision is burning in your chest, you'll push through walls, you'll climb over obstacles, you'll run through fire if you have to. Because you refuse to die in your current circumstances, I need you to stop looking at what is and start declaring what's coming. Stop obsessing over the limits in front of you and start focusing on the possibilities ahead of you. Stop rehearsing your problems and start rehearsing your promise. Because at the end of the day, your life will always move in the direction of your vision. If your vision is small, your life will be small. If your vision is weak, your life will be weak. But if your vision is unstoppable, your life will be unstoppable. You can't afford to think average. You can't afford to dream average. You can't afford to settle for average, because average will keep you at nothing. You've got to see yourself as something greater, even when you're standing in the middle of nothing. So from this day forward, guard your vision, feed your vision, speak life into your vision. Let your vision dictate how hard you grind, how much you sacrifice, how far you're willing to go. Because when your vision is bigger than your circumstances don't stand a chance. And when you finally step into that vision, when what you saw in your head becomes what you're living in real life, you'll look back at your circumstances and smile. You'll realize they were never the limit. The only limit was how far you were willing to see. That's how you go from nothing to something.